Ohio.
Hey, oh, you fucked me up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Unfiltered Pineapple Podcast. Today is Weeb Chronicles. What is it? The third edition? Yeah, it's the third edition. Um, Today I am your host Dean, joined by my fellow co-host Matt. Say hi. Say konnichiwa.
Hello.
All right,
No, I already said Ohio.
good Weeb.
Fuck you.
And Platypus.
Yo.
There we go. Good Weeb. So, it was a fall season, right? Just to date this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the winter season starts every time it's a new year. Yeah.
Still doesn't make sense to me.
I don't get it either. I got it wrong for years, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like opposite of like car models or something. Side note: I just finished eating my hard-boiled eggs with guacamole. That's a long story.
Maybe next time.
I have extra guac, and I needed something to eat it with, so I said, let's experiment. But hopefully that doesn't upset my stomach. We'll see. What were your guys' general impressions from this last season? Now, just to give light to some context, I actually haven't watched any anime in like 6 to 8, 9 months. I don't know. Most of 2022, I did not watch much. I watched Demon Slayer because Platypus convinced me to, and I don't regret that. But I think that was at the start of last year. So, but I've actually binged what I consider a lot, considering how much I did in the entirety of last year. In the last few weeks, everything from Blue Lock, which is still ongoing, Shield Hero Season 2, Classroom of the Elite Season 2, stuff like this, a bunch of catching up that I did. I've enjoyed it. What about you guys? General thoughts, vibes, favorites, worst stuff you've seen, whatever.
There were definitely some good ones, some that fell short in my opinion, and some that shouldn't have ever been made.
So typical season.
Yeah.
Nothing's
usually
not like a bombastic year or anything. Because I remember 2021, the winter season was considered like one of the best or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Platypus?
Well, I mean, forgive me because I don't understand the seasons either, so I might throw out some titles that don't line up accordingly.
Oh, we don't have to talk just about this last season. I was just dating it, like general vibes. The only new one I saw was Blue Lock. I'm pretty sure The Rising of Shield Hero came out in summer.
Yeah, the last season was the one that was airing alongside Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, and Chainsaw Man, I binged on that literally yesterday. I finished that. Or I finished that in one night, and then 3 episodes the next day. Anyways, I caught up on that. Yeah, okay, so Shield Hero was the season before. The stuff I watched was not all from last season. Matt, I know you typically keep up with each season. That's why I was asking what your general impressions were. Platypus, what are your general thoughts from what you've watched recently, or at least since the last edition of this?
Well, I'll just throw out 3 random ones. I watched Tokyo Revengers. To be honest, wasn't really crazy about that one. Like, the story was all right. The action kind of sucked, but I think it was more about the story, and that's fine. But like, what really threw me off about that show was how, like, the main characters were in middle school, but then they were in like gangs and killing each other and shit. So I was just like, well, why not just have all these characters be like grown ass men instead of little kids? But I mean, whatever. Just like a really quick hot take.
It's got to be relatable. It's got to be relatable, obviously. Every kid's in a gang. Have you not listened to any Republican on TV?
Apparently not. Goddamn.
We got to keep the kids out of gangs and everything, obviously.
Well, that's concerning. Like, really concerning. Yeah. But also, Cyberpunk. That show was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I heard a lot of reviews for that.
Yeah, like, I'm a little biased because I've always had a thing for like the cyberpunk genre and like that
aesthetic,
like that vibe of it. Yeah, and even just like their take on it, like that specific kind of like brand, quote unquote, of cyberpunk. But
okay,
it was really good. Like, it's definitely worth checking out in my opinion.
All right,
Like
that's cool.
cool soundtrack, cool story, so on and so forth. And then I guess one more. I watched Chainsaw Man, which we can talk more about later, but that started out kind of weird in my opinion, and I didn't think I was gonna like it, but then I ended up actually being pretty interested in it, and now I want to see where it goes.
Yeah,
But
my quick input on Chainsaw Man is after you recommended, you're like, it's gonna be tough at the beginning. You watched it what every week?
no, I wasn't keeping up with it. I basically started it after all the episodes were out. Now I just watch like an episode or two here or there.
Oh,
But
okay. So,
like,
but you didn't quite binge it. You still spread it out. Yeah, I
yeah,
binged it, so I got through the part that you said was rough, which was the beginning. And it just passed in like an hour and a half, and I was like, oh, okay, I totally forgot about that. Now it's just got momentum. But yeah, I can see staggering that out each week. That might be why that could be tough, or waiting a few days, kind of like what you're doing.
yeah,
Matt, did you watch Chainsaw Man?
Yeah, I was watching that every week when it came out. I didn't like read the light novel or anything. My sister did, so she
Mm-hmm.
was overly hyped for it. I guess I can kind of see what you mean about the first part of it being a little rough, but it never got to a point where I was willing to drop it,
Yeah,
whether it was
same.
the thing I was looking at or looking forward to for the week. Um, but it was good.
It definitely was. We'll just talk about it now. It was definitely a little bit. I don't know if off-putting is a word, but the tone, I guess, was definitely very. I
it's
guess
out
different
there.
from what you'd expect, yeah, from a typical, I guess, shonen or something. And typically they have upsetting backstories or whatever, but like they jump straight in from like I guess the anime's marketed pet, and immediately like it's spoilers. That pet's not seen very much, but he's talked about a lot in the series after the first episode. And I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, because I recognized the material. I was like, oh, everyone's buying the plush and everything for it. And I think it's a cool design, a cool demon, the chainsaw demon. Um, Pochka, yeah,
Something like
That
that.
sounds right.
yeah, Pochka. I thought that was cool. And the parts that were, let's say, rough, they got the exposition done with, or they laid the foundation of how the universe works, like just like that. They didn't. Nothing was blurry. The things were just kind of made sense right away. Like, yeah, this is how it works. And if this, like, wait, how did that happen? They immediately just spent like the next 60 seconds explaining it or showing it, and then they moved on as if the audience just understood. They didn't keep repeating things. They're just like, yeah, this is how it works. Our audience isn't stupid. They understand. So I like that. They kind of got through the learning curves, I guess, really quick for how the universe functions.
Yeah.
The action scenes are pretty good. And I like the protagonist a lot, even though he's a dumbass.
It's
Dingy.
relatable, right?
Yeah, I'll just say it. I find him very relatable.
His goals and
His
aspirations, like that.
Everyone
I
has goals and aspirations. You shouldn't judge people for what they think is important in their life. You don't know what their upbringing is. Like in his case, normalcy is a fucking dream. You know? So,
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
little things.
yeah. Or the big things. Or a couple big
Exactly.
things.
The
Right.
pair of big things. Yeah.
I thought Power did him dirty in that episode.
Yeah, fucking the
Yeah, after he
first one
saved
does.
Yowie. Oh
Yeah,
wait, no, wait. Now I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
yeah.
And what is the protagonist's name again?
Dingy.
Denji, that's right. I was like, oh, I'll remember this name. It's really easy, and immediately I forget. Denji, yeah. I think they played him well for that scene or other scenes in general with him just being completely oblivious to how stuff works. I'm like, you know what? That seems very authentic of a reaction. So
Yeah.
I thought that was good. But mostly, I think the bat fighting scene was one of my favorite. When he's fighting the bat demon, they're like, why are you doing all this? So I can cup a feel. That's it. There's no other reason other than you're blocking me from this.
Yeah,
Is
pretty
it is
much.
it is it bad? I kind of liked the fighting scenes with, I can't remember his name, but it was that kind of creepy dude with the scar on his mouth, well, on his face.
Oh, the drunk dude.
Yeah, he's like a monster. I mean, he's not actually a monster,
But they're
but
like the number one demon hunter dude. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought
I
those
don't
were
know.
pretty good.
It's like they tried to freaking outsmart him, so they put on glasses because they were trying to do big brain time, and they got their asses beat. Like,
Yeah.
I got a
Oh
kick out of that.
Like good stupid people, that's what you would expect. Like it's like their character flaws and stuff carried through all the way. It wasn't like some weird one-off things for just comedy. It was like every decision they made was in line with their character design and personality. I liked that. It was consistent. Um, some deaths were really sudden or unexpected. I was like, man, they are just going through this plot quickly. I'm okay with that.
yeah.
They're not wasting using filler. Obviously, it's like, oh, I'd like to see a little bit more of this or these people, and boom, it's like, oh, okay, never mind. You know what? Let's
Yeah.
move on with this. Let's get on. We don't have time for this. This world doesn't have time for this shit.
Yeah, I appreciate that pacing, but I also wish there was a little bit more. Like, it was
Exactly.
good, but it was only 12
They could
episodes.
have used a 13th. I'll just say it. They could have used a 13th. I wouldn't have complained.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll always advocate for short and sweet over long and drawn out and shitty. I
Yeah.
hate filler.
Yeah.
Speaking of long and drawn out,
Especially
My
so.
Hero Academy season 6, bit of a disappointment in my opinion.
Wait, I haven't. Okay, wait. The
The
last
one,
season I saw was the one there's like a redhead hanging out with an old dude. They were trying to ruin like a school event or something.
yeah,
I
you're a
think he.
ways back.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, the current arc is they're going through another like out of school shadow training program thing. Last season focused on the villains getting stronger, and this one showed the villains and the heroes fighting. But it was just drawn out and boring for the most part, and it it needed to be a lot better.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it was bad enough that I can't even really give an accurate description of it because I can't remember it because there was nothing that was truly worth remembering,
Yeah, that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
especially coming from me.
I'm behind on a couple seasons of that also. I need to catch up. I don't have a problem with catching up. It's just like, all right, the way I watch anime is I binge it. So it's so tough with my day-to-day routine and other activities and projects to just consistently watch it each week. So when I get the time, then I binge it. And I just gotta binge My Hero and catch up on it. I'm a few seasons behind. Um, Back when Deku could fly.
And not fly Spider-Man.
You get what I mean with the girl on his
Yeah.
back. Yeah, that was the last.
Yeah, that one.
That was the
That
last
part.
season. Yeah, that was. I think that was 2 or 3.
Yeah, you're ways back.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've seen some scenes on like YouTube or advertisements of like, oh, this is coming up like with Todoroki's father and whatnot.
hmm
But I'm not gonna spoil it, and spoilers don't really bother me because I'll just watch it in the moment, be like, oh, I recognize this, and then just keep watching and enjoying. It doesn't ruin it for me. So, but I gotta catch
Either
up
of
on that.
you. Yeah.
I gotta catch up on Attack on Titan. What, season 4? Because season 5 is coming out soon. Is that what you said, Platypus?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they kind of fucked us by calling it the final season or
Oh yeah,
season
that was
4 because it's like,
horrible marketing. That was so stupid for them.
yeah,
I
but
remember
yeah, it's like,
Miles was like with 4 episodes left. He's like, you know what? If they aren't at at a specific point by this next episode, they're not gonna finish it. This is gonna be a whole nother season. Obviously, I didn't read the manga, and I don't know what he's talking about. But he's like, I can already see it. He's like, and they would have to rush those other 3 to finish it up if this is really the final season. So I know he was pissed.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's, it's still quality content, but
Okay, that's
When
good to hear.
when they said the final season, you think that you're at the end, and I
Series
guess we
finale,
are.
yeah. The series
It's
finale is the final season.
yeah, but
Watch,
I mean,
watch,
I'm excited for that.
watch. They do one more season, and then they do a movie to finish it off.
I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, after the Demon Slayer movie, I'm pretty open to that type of thing happening. I like it was. I liked it. It was fun. I
It
also
has to be
saw the
done right, though.
yeah, true.
It has to be done right, and it has to have the right amount of content left to be made into a movie. And even then, for people who don't go out and watch the movie, the series itself has to have left off at a point that would make sense to finish there.
See, and
You can't,
that's Demon
unless they
Slayer.
plan on releasing the movie in episodic pieces like they did with the Demon Slayer movie.
Correct. I was just gonna say that because you have to see the movie to understand. Yeah, to basically understand what the hell happened at the start for what was that, season 2? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, the
unless you come
entertainment
back.
district.
Yeah, you don't. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the movie for Demon Slayer or afterwards. You can't just like ha- have the movie and not release it in at least an episodic format for free to the public or however they release the anime, so people that didn't watch the movie can catch up to it. Otherwise, people will come into the next season and be like, "Why is this main guy dead?"
Yep.
That would cause so much shit.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. End of spoilers if you skipped ahead. We didn't. No, we're not time stamping anything.
Yeah.
um. Yeah. Feel free to discuss actual plots or characters. If it spoils it, then people will skip it. I guess
Yeah.
we don't need to talk super
True enough.
generic. Like, okay, so I want to talk about the Rising of Shield Hero season 2.
I
Cause
just need to start that.
say
Well,
what?
like I need to start that anime still.
You do. First season, even with all the scores from people online, ranks higher than season 2, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Season 2 is still good, decent. I'm not complaining. I'll definitely watch a season 3 and whatnot. It was definitely slower and whatnot. I don't really know how much to talk about because it's not going to really spoil anything for you, Platypus, or you're just not going to remember. Matt, you watched Shield Hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was the turtle uh, deity
It was
called again?
essentially
What was her name? Like Toph or something?
the chick from it.
Yeah, the chick.
I cannot
Earthbending
remember off
chick.
the
Yeah,
top
the
of my
earthbending
head.
chick. Her name is similar to that. Toph, I think, instead of Toph. I'm not sure. I gave zero flying fucks about that girl. They were
About
trying
She
to
was
Toph?
in.
they were trying to
Nah, yeah.
force a big ass emotional connection to this woman, and you'll see it when you watch. And I skipped a bunch of. I don't skip anime or fast forward in anime. I watch the filler shows and stuff. I have friends like One Piece. They'll watch every other episode or skip some stuff and be like, "Yeah, I caught up." Nah, I watch it all. I don't. I'm going through the grind of it, and I was fast forwarding past this bitch. It pissed me off. I was like, I have no connection towards this woman. I don't feel an emotional connection towards her. It feels so forced. And then they are using new background or sub characters to create that connection. They weren't even using the protagonist. I'm like, why should I
Yeah.
be attached to this woman and give a shit if the protagonist isn't even having these conversations with her? And then I'm supposed to assume that he just has this instant emotional connection with her at the climax. I'm like, I didn't see that develop. Are you getting the same thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's wasn't so much necessarily in my mind that it was his own emotional connection. It was the fact that he wants to save everyone and as many as he can, and she was a decent enough person to be worth trying to save, but being unable to, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It just annoyed me. I was like, this just does not feel like um, Shield Hero focused at all. It's like the party of Shield Hero kind of spin off
Yeah.
for a good chunk of it. And I was like, I'm here to see him. So when the second half of the that season happened in the and they kind of like rebooted that arc
Yeah.
basically, I was like, oh, this is fun, exciting. We get to see him like approaching it from a second perspective or from experience again and be like, what the fuck? How did I end up here again? That was enjoyable. I preferred the second half of the season a lot better, even though it was a little weird and it's still questionable about Rafalia.
Raftalia.
Raftalia.
And
It's still questionable about like her now relationship with the other town.
yeah, especially seeing as how going with the mechanics that they laid out,
Exactly.
she should not be able to stay there.
That I was thinking the same thing. Like, wait a second, she's just traveling right back with what's the
Now for me.
protagonist? What's the Yeah, um, Alfumi.
But
Is that what you said?
yeah, Naofumi. But
Malfumi.
then
I'm
again, it
so
also
bad with
brings up the same question of how did Glass, Locks, and whatever the other chicks, how did they get there before the waves the first time?
They had permission somehow because they had to go do that, which I guess was just to establish connection with the other heroes and be like,
Yeah, but it just makes a fucking plot hole of
yeah.
if the only time they're technically supposed to be able to is during the waves, and the wave summons them to there, how the fuck did they get there before the waves last time? And then in this later half of it, when the wave ends, it takes them back. How the fuck were they still there?
But I did like how they had to grind back in the new place. So I was like, okay, they kept that continuity. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm okay with it. They just need to fix a lot of that in season 3 because I had to stop at one point and look it up. I'm like, what is the difference here between the heroes and the what is it, vassals or something? Because they kept using them like almost interchangeably, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
sacred weapon and vassal
I
weapon.
had to look it up. I was like, I'm getting confused because I thought there was only supposed to be 4.
Yeah. The guy that she cuts in half though, don't move,
Don't
just
move. Yeah,
walks away, and then
that was
after
good.
who knows how long of healing, just moves a little bit.
Yeah, that was good.
What did their healing do?
That was like super slow. I don't know that. Um, I thought the villain was um fine. As they built him up, I thought it was fine. Initially, I was like, he's coming out pretty strong without any like real build up to who this guy is, and then I was like, oh, okay, there this is their first encounter. It's not the last encounter right away. Gotcha. I thought it's acceptable.
Yeah,
Um,
and the three dumbasses just not being willing to help with the clearly now imminent threat that has literally stopped the waves from being counted down to and happening.
yeah.
Why?
What the
Why
fuck? What I'm
did they
cussing. I'm
not?
cussing a lot
Yeah,
this episode. What the hell is wrong with those 3
did
dumbasses?
they not literally just get fucking told by the queen, "Hey, stop this shit, work together"? Did they not just do that?
Did
Then
they not
fuck
just
those
did
idiots.
they not just get shown up repeatedly? Yeah. I do like how at
Hmm.
the end they're like, yeah, they did their best to hold it off, while Malfumi was in the other city. So I'm
No,
like,
no, the thing was dead by the time Nofumi went to the other city.
well, I know, but at the end when the waves were happening in the other city, they still had waves. If you listen to the exposition, they still were dealing with stuff at the same time in their area. So they were dealing with it, holding it off during that time. Like, all right, so they're still doing their job. Um, but apparently, Malfumi is now was spoiler. I had to look up what position it was, but he's like 4th in command now. So I'm curious who the 2nd and 3rd are. But
And most likely the leaders of the nations.
no, it's for that country specifically. I don't know. I have to look at. I had to. It's one of the few times I actually had to look up some stuff outside of um, the show itself to understand what was going on. One was terminology, but the other time I was like, I don't know what the difference is here between the plot devices. Like I'm too confused here.
Yeah.
So, but it was all right. Season 1 is definitely far stronger, and the second half of season 2 is better. But the first half of season 1 was more of a slog, kind of like what Platypus saw for I guess Chainsaw Man at the beginning. I was like, oh my goodness. And they definitely had a smaller budget for the second season. That's for sure.
Hmm.
That was a little upsetting, but whatever. Platypus, did we ruin it for you?
No, not at
Okay.
all. I'll still check it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you watch season 1, and I'm not going to spoil season 1, I'd rather spoil season 2 for you. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Season 1, episode 1 is like 45 minutes also, so buckle down for that. It's not a one episode. It's not a typical episode thing.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, they have a lot of plot that they got to get through for you to be like, okay, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Probably still one of my favorite anime openings. Probably because it's the length of 2 episodes, but nonetheless.
Hmm. Going along with the long time between stuff, and here's where we're at. Either of you watched the new Bleach?
Not yet.
No, I never went through that phase.
I'm trying to figure out if I should just try to pick up from where I left off on the original show, or just say screw it and start the 1,000-Year Blood War.
Honestly, I'd probably say screw it at this point. It's too far back to figure out where you were and then watch it. Maybe watch like highlights of certain arcs, but I mean, at this point, half of them don't matter anymore because the powers he got during them were temporary things that are gone now, and he's just back to being a substitute Soul Reaper.
Interesting. I mean, I remember I was at the part where they were trying to fight the Bounce, and everyone was getting their asses kicked, and that's the last thing I remember. But yeah, I guess I'll just look up some recaps because I think I'd still have hundreds of episodes to watch if I wanted to do that.
I think you should just
Yeah.
maybe just ask Matt what arcs or stuff to look up, and he can give you a quick list of this stuff's important to understand, and then go on from there. Maybe not have him do a deep dive, like watch these episodes from here to here. You can be like, yeah, look, Google search this, Google search this, Google search this fight, and then you're good to go. That might help.
Yeah, catching up on it, pretty much the only thing you really would need to pay attention to is where the power creep is, who he was fighting to compare against where he was to where he is now, things like that. So you can understand the in-universe threat that the new bad guys are.
Is this is a new Bleach season, correct? Not like a movie.
It is a new Bleach season, yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's
It
like a
is
new animation style too, right?
it's an updated animation style. It's not bad updated like Trigun. We'll
Oh
get to that
God.
in a little bit. But it is updated compared to the earlier Bleach, yes. Seems to be a bit smoother in my opinion.
Cool.
But yeah. You know how throughout all of the beginning one, there's only was ever like one Quincy and that was his friend?
Yep.
They're back.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And I had spoiled myself beforehand, just like with an in-depth dive of Ichigo's character. Dear Lord, where his powers come from is fucking stupid and bullshit. Like the in-universe actual explanation as to why he has all the powers that he does and why he grows as fast as he does is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I always wondered why he was like part hollow. I remember you explained it once, and
That is actually explained in this season.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
He's half hollow, he's half Soul Reaper, he's half human, and he's half Quincy.
Math.
I was gonna say math adds up
Right?
just good, just good enough.
Well, the reason they say it that way,
It's because
mother was Quincy that was infected and being turned into a hollow, and his father was a Soul Reaper who gave up his Soul Reaper powers and took a human Gigai body thing. And yeah, so Soul Reaper dad who's not a Soul Reaper anymore, and a Quincy mother who's not a Quincy anymore. That's also being turned into a hollow, which is being suppressed by the yeah, that crap.
I just miss the days of over 9,000.
Wait, didn't you like Dragon Ball Z?
No, I was I was making a joke
When
by
it was just
saying they
that
were
simple of a number power scale.
yeah, I was making a
Right.
joke of like they're the same show.
Yeah.
And then eventually
Ma-
they went off the scale, and it's like, no, we don't know. We just
Yeah,
it's
they
like
Yeah.
turned into
current
God.
Dragon. It's like current Dragon Ball, where they can shatter multiverses in a punch, and it's like, all right, where do you go from here, dumbasses? What are you guys gonna do now for power creep?
Yeah.
Eliminate everything? You just tried that. You failed.
Speaking of characters that are over 9,000, then either of
Sherlock
y'all
Holmes.
watched Eminence and no, either of y'all watch the Eminence and Shadow.
This is the first time I've heard of it, so yes.
If it's the first time you've heard of it,
just,
you have
just you can stop talking about it. Yes.
That is definitely one I would recommend.
What is it again? Eminent Shadows?
The Eminence in Shadow.
The Eminence in Shadow. Okay, what's it
Yeah.
about? What's the genre tags and
It's
general story?
reincarnation one,
Okay.
like obviously, but here's snippets from the actual description. The guy's pretty much just fixated on being as strong as possible, dies, gets reincarnated into obviously a fantasy world with magic and all that, ends up being pretty damn strong and figuring out ways to get stronger,
Surprise, surprise.
and he ends up rescuing essentially an orphan girl from kidnappers, rapists, whatever, child traffickers,
Yeah.
and decides to lie and make up a organization, one that he's a part of and one that he's fighting against.
Wait, he makes
He makes a lie, just makes up a name for an organization that he's leading, air
okay,
quotes,
okay,
that doesn't exist yet,
okay.
and names an organization that he's fighting. To him, it's literally just a lie.
Yeah.
And turns out he did name an actual evil organization.
Oh, and just
And so
started beef for no reason.
essentially, but throughout years of him growing up, whatever, now high school age, the people that he has saved and has kept that story going, in his mind, it's all still just a joke. Yes, he
Mhm.
is stupidly strong,
Mhm.
but they are all like diehard believers in
His
their shadow cult and the Diablo's cult that they're fighting against.
okay.
So as they're investigating things, they're finding actual stuff about a actual Diablo cult, and they're fighting all the corruption in the government and everything.
Yeah.
And so they're actually working on that, and from knowledge that he had from his world about information and like animes and mangas such as Dragon Ball, one of the characters in there actually makes those, straight up plagiarizes them and sells them in a fantasy world as stories.
Interesting.
And so that's one of the ways they get money to do all this stuff. But at the point they're at, they have several thousand members in his organization. He doesn't know like 99% of them. He's
Yeah.
like, did y'all? One of the actual quotes during the thing that he accidentally says out loud was, "Did they hire extras?" Just because in his mind, like all of it is still, yeah, separate events, some minor corruption of actual political figures and stuff. But to him, it's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this, like, the most recent episode that had just come out last week, again, minor spoilers with this, but they're inside a place called the Sanctuary. It's where the spirits of dead heroes are.
Mhm.
They're being controlled by, obviously, one of the villains, of course, because why not? And getting some feedback there.
Yeah, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, it seems to be gone. But he's been sitting there in this area. All magic is kind of just being dispersed into the wide area around them. So no one in there can really use magic except the bad guy who has control of everything.
Mhm.
He's been sitting there just building up power this whole time. The way that they were originally supposed to escape is having someone with the hero's blood pull a sword, break a chain, break the seal. Yeah, no, he essentially just kept. He couldn't pull the sword out. Didn't have blood of the hero, whatever. So this whole time he's sitting there fighting essentially a fragment of an old hero that's being controlled. Did about 100 of them at once. But this whole time he's just been building up magical power and decides to essentially release a nuclear explosion inside the core of this facility in order to blow it up and escape.
All right.
Yeah.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Well, the spirit of essentially a demon that had taken human form that was also trapped in there was like, no man should have this much power. No one being should be this strong. What the fuck? So he's actually scaring like spirits of demons and shit at this point. It's like, what the fuck, man? And he still just wants to be that like laid back background character. He
Yeah.
keeps thinking of himself when he's not in his alternative persona as the leader of that group as a background character. And he does just about everything he can to be a background character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's hilarious. It's
I'll
decent
add it
action.
to I'll add it to my
comedy.
list. Is it still ongoing? They haven't wrapped up the season yet.
Yes,
Okay.
they are. I'll have to find it again.
I think it's like 14 or something right about now. 13, 14.
Yeah.
Because Blue Lock is like episode 14 or something right now. So
Come on with us.
Jesus, every time you say that.
They're 15 episodes in, according to the site I watched from. Season 1, if not the whole thing, is 20 episodes, so they still got another 5 weeks.
20? That's an interesting number to stop at.
Yeah, no, it's a bit odd. Usually it's gonna be 12, maybe 13, or it's gonna be like 24, or it's gonna be stupid long,
or maybe 25 or 23. But yeah, not 20. Interesting.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Platypus?
I was just every time you name that anime, I get really concerned and tense up because I think you're about to say Blue Waffle.
Oh no, Blue Lock. Yes, it's a soccer anime. It's not a hentai.
All right, much better.
Yeah, there you go. It's I think I've told you about this before, but it's about Japan never wins a World Cup. They're tired of it, so they're like, all right, we made this training facility. We're gonna get the best, God blessed best high school or college student, and we're gonna train the hell out of them to become the world's greatest striker. And then Japan will win because the only way you're gonna win the World Cup is scoring goals. And so I'm a little confused. I think they get like 250 students, like personal invites, like, hey, you're welcome to this facility. We're gonna do this, and then so the caveat is if you can quit, but once you're in and once you start, you have to go through the program. And if you lose the program, there's only one person that's allowed to finish. If you lose or if you can't beat the challenges when they are presented to you, then you're forced to leave and you're never allowed to play for the national team or any team in the country. Like, you can play for clubs and stuff, but not for an actual tournament or anything. So their whole soccer career is ruined. So you have to get through the whole, facility and be the last one standing on top of everyone. And it's an ego battle. And they say this constantly. It's like, whoever has the greatest ego is going to win and will survive here. If you don't have ego, you don't deserve to be the world's greatest striker. And they just go through challenges and stuff, and I actually enjoy it. I'm keeping up with it each week. Last episode was definitely lower budget than the fewer episodes before it, but they were also finishing like an arc and drama. So I'm like, it's fine, it's acceptable. They're just doing some exposition, laying the groundwork for the second half of the season here. Here's the competition coming up, that kind of stuff. It's good. It's intense. I was gonna compare it to Kuroko no Basket, but that's not really the case at all. It's just people are really good at one thing. Yeah, they're not like god tier. They're just like developing their skills of like really good at dribbling or just super fast or acceleration or touch, and control, stuff like that. It's interesting. I had like
That's what I expect from a soccer-based anime.
Yeah.
It was neat.
Yeah. Definitely watch it. It's unique. If you don't like it after the first 3 episodes, then definitely don't watch it. And normally I'm not a fan of the whole 3 episodes rule. But this is one I'm definitely like, watch it for 3 episodes. If you don't like it by then, yeah, definitely just bail on it. It definitely picks up, but it's kind of consistent in terms of what to expect going forward from there. As the protagonist is like, oh, how do I hone my skill, or how are these people doing it? How do I do it better? And oftentimes this is in the middle of competition where if you don't do it, or if you don't learn on the spot, or improve, then you just lose, and again you're out forever. You're not allowed to compete anymore. So it's like, there's high stakes of like learning to adapt in the moment or get through the challenges correctly. And it's not every challenge is life or death, but it compounds on it for some stuff. Like, oh, you can only lose 2 out of 5, so stuff like that.
Right. How do you spell it?
Blue, like the color, and then
Yeah.
space, and then lock, like a key in a lock. LOCK. Blue
Okay, I
space
thought you were
lock.
saying walk with a
No,
W.
LOCK, lock. Blue lock.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's the name
Yes.
of the facility. They'll tell you that in like episode 1 or 2, but that's the name of the facility they're at. Blue lock. I don't know why they called it that, but that's what it's called. So
Found it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't have much more.
Comedy.
I don't have
I
much
got
more. What?
I got one more that was a good comedy from last season.
All right, hit me up.
I
I'm
had
looking for one.
sent y'all the clip of it. Do you remember it?
I need a reminder, or I need to look it up again.
The Akiba maid war? The maid that, while dancing to upbeat music, was just capping people like crazy?
Oh yeah.
That was a funny one. Either of y'all actually watched that one yet?
No, I thought that was like an older anime. I thought it was just.
No.
I
I got
forgot.
Platypus laughing.
Because a few years ago there was a lot of war animes or whatever. So I thought it was like from that. So, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. The only comedy anime I've really looked at recently was I don't know the Japanese name, and I feel like I want to say it, but like Konowa something.
Konosuba?
No, not Konosuba. I probably need to watch that too. It was Love is War.
Ah, that one.
I know that's a few
Yeah.
years old, like 2019. I watched the first 3 episodes or something when it came out, week after week after week, and I was like, all right, this is okay. I wasn't really interested in it. And I also I don't keep up with animes every week, like I've already said, so it was tough for me to stick to that. Oh, I gotta watch Megalobox.
Season 1, yes. Season 2, no.
For Megalobox.
Yeah.
Okay, well, season 2 is what I meant. I've watched season 1. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I remember Irv was like, "Nah, this is pretty bad." I'm like, I was hyped for it every week. That's like the only anime I have legitimately watched every week when the episodes came out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Season
which one?
2,
Megalobox.
Megalobox. The guy that, like, robotic assisted boxing anime, and the main character
Doesn't use
basically
it.
he doesn't use the mechanical stuff, is just a natural boxer.
It's a bit modern, future, post-apocalyptic, not entirely apocalyptic kind of thing. The world, like professional boxing, is how you make it in that world, and again, you have to have the right arms or mechanical arms to help assist your punches and stuff for more power and stuff. And people often die in the ring, and he's fighting, and he just fights bare knuckle. He's like, I don't need that stuff.
I recognize the cover art.
Yeah,
I'm looking at.
it's got an old '80s aesthetic anime, but it's not made in the '80s. So
Season 1 was good. Season 2 was so slow paced with almost no actual boxing.
oh, that's disheartening. Well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah,
I'll avoid it then.
Season 2 is not worth your time if you're expecting it to be anything like Season 1.
Okay, I'll avoid it. Taking it off the
That's
list.
sad.
Yeah, but definitely watch season 1 too. Add it to your list. It's good. Even if it's something you watch weekly, like I did, 1 episode a week. What I was getting at was Love is War. I looked at when I finished Blue Lock, and I was in High School of the Elite season 2. I was like, oh, it just randomly popped up on like recommended or something. Like, oh, there's 3 seasons of this.
Hmm.
I was like, how did it get to 3 seasons? I figured the whole plot of this wouldn't even be able to get past 1 season. It'd be barely able to. So I put it on. I watched some more episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, I had some genuine, authentic like belly laughs a couple times. I was like, I have not laughed like at an actual anime or a recent movie or something like this in a while. Um, my favorite character is definitely the treasurer. I forget his name, but the dude that's afraid.
Yeah.
How he just jumps to conclusions. So what I do with that one is I watch it like every few days or once a week, an episode, to be like, all right, let's get some. Because I feel like it's kind of like Psyche, where you don't want to binge it because you don't like you'll like the jokes and stuff, but it's gonna lose its luster when you binge it. You know,
Yeah, it's one of the ones where you use that
episodic. Yeah,
relax, relax and enjoy it, but not
exactly.
just the story. So you have to break it up, otherwise you're already too used to laughing at other stuff. You need to let it sit in.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing with that one. So every few days to a week, I watch an episode or two, and I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. Just a good chuckle. I enjoyed the twist or the thing because I kind of relate to it a little bit. In hindsight, I'm like, oh, you know what? I do relate to some of these characters. It's pretty funny. Um,
Now, just because we had mentioned it earlier and I said we'd get to it, the remake of Trigun, they done him
Oh
dirty.
god.
They
Oh
done him
no.
dirty.
go ahead, everybody. Look up the Trigun remake.
It's titled Trigun Stampede.
Yeah, and then if you don't know what the original looks like, take a look at the original.
The original was good, old anime, but decent quality. Could actually still stand up to some of the ones today. Good story,
Yeah,
great character,
yeah,
good plot.
yeah.
New one, not so much so far. They have gotten rid of at least one main character and replaced it with another one that's brand new. They redesigned the character looks and went with a completely different art style that goes against the original's personality. They've changed the actual story. No, just stop. Just stop.
I wish they wouldn't do shit like this. Like, who asked for this?
I couldn't tell you.
Somebody, they got the money for it. that's,
Oh
that's,
god.
that's all I can say. Somebody did. Um, when did Attack on Titan season 5 come out, or when is it coming out? Platypus. Is it this winter? Is it like in a month or two? The final season. Final.
I'm not sure actually. I just know it's supposed to be this year as far as I know.
2023. Okay. I was I'm I'm thinking I'll wait till it's completely done and then I will binge the final season and then the final season part 2 season um all at once just to get like a full feel of it instead of like being like, "Oh, this is where everyone's holding off." I'm like, I'd rather just watch it all at once, feel the whole vibe of it, but I'm not sure if that might be the good idea or not. We'll see. Cuz who knows how the final season um starts off, like if it's a weird tone shift or something. I don't know. Sometimes that happens in between seasons. It might be jarring.
Attack on Titan feels pretty tonally different between seasons.
Yeah, that's why I'm debating if like binging season 4 and then going straight into season 5 after season 5 wraps up is a smart idea or not.
Well, I think they're still calling it season 4, part 3, because damn it. But
Hunger Games
all
part
that to say,
5, yeah.
it should be like I mean, it should stay consistent. Like,
Okay. Well, hopefully. Because I already told you, I binged season 2 and season 3 all in one sitting. And I'm happy I
good
did that.
lord,
I'm happy I did that.
that's intense.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think I would have been able to if I staggered it out. Like, season 2 and season 3 had some very drawl moments. And I was like, oh, goodness. And
Yeah,
Brandon was just like, "You sure you want to keep going?" Because he also was like trying to catch up a bit. I was like, "Yeah, why would I stop now?" we're already like 17 episodes in. We got another half to go. Like,
Damn. Just so much
I'm not going to
content.
bed until this is done. I don't give a crap what hour it is. I'll order the pizza. What do you want? Yeah, I caught
Dedicate.
up. I caught up though in one sitting. That's how I watch anime.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Oh, so how much of season 4 have you seen?
I've seen actually. I did watch the first 2 episodes, maybe the third episode with him, because he was watching it every week, and then I just again got busy and couldn't commit to that every week. I got busy with other obligations and stuff. So I've definitely seen the first 2 episodes. I think the third one, but I have to get a refresher on like the thumbnail or what happens in it. First episode of season 4 was definitely intense. I was like, oh, cool, totally different. Not expecting any of this. Episode 2 of it was, building on the plot and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, but I haven't seen Aaron in the new season yet. So I don't know if that was episode 3 or 4 or 5 where people are like, damn, he looks tough or whatever. He's like, oh, he looks different. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't even seen a picture online of him yet. So that tells you where I definitely cut off.
Yeah, you're like on the cusp
Yeah,
of like
I'm pretty good at that, like timing.
Yeah, it's still being titled season 4 part 3 and only
It's the final
listed as
season
a,
for sure. That's one way to do it.
yeah, just add more parts to it. But
The
yeah,
final part.
it's only listed as a 2023 release, not listed as which season in 2023, but sometime this year.
Not winter, so well, we would have heard it by now if it was winter. So
probably. Yeah.
okay. Well, I guess I'll just wait till it wraps up because I know if I start watching it, I'll be like, oh, and then I'll fall off and forget. I'll just binge it all again. And I need to. Oh, that's also on my list. I gotta bump up since I'm not watching Megalobox season 2. I need to catch up on. I told you not to spoil anything, Matt. What is it? Devil is a Part-Timer season 2 after like 12 years of Netflix popularity. Don't say anything, good or bad or neutral. Don't spoil anything. I want to have fresh impressions going in. I know it's when you have a gap like that and a new different studio and team, it's going to be different. I want to just take it in its all of its glory. So get fresh impressions. So Platypus, do you remember that anime? It was on Netflix a bit. We shown you it.
Yeah, I think I do. It's like the devil working in like a fast food kitchen or something.
Yeah, then you got the high school girl with the big badonkadonks, and the hero from the other world is jealous of that and still trying to kill him at the same time.
Yeah, I don't remember all of that.
Yeah. What I do like about that from season 1 is the intro changed like every episode or every couple episodes when key characters got added in, so it didn't spoil it. So if you watch like the first few episodes, the intros, because I watch the intros now and the outro. Well, not really the outros. I watch the intros because it kind of gives you a hint of what's to come. When new characters got added in that season, they then got added into the intro, so they weren't spoiled until after they were introduced in the show, which I thought was a cool touch.
Yes, too many animes that are opening or ending credits will spoil characters and other
Or
major
key
plot
points and stuff. So like Chainsaw Man is consistent with the intros. Like at the end of the first season, I was like, wait, were these characters in the intro at all? I've watched the intro several times. And I was like, oh yeah, they're in the back of the movie theater. Interesting. I just totally missed that. I saw them and then forgot about them.
Yeah, like the angel devil.
Yeah, and the shark boy and stuff. Yeah. But the outros, every outro was different. It was based around like I guess the primary character or plot point of that episode, and I was like, that's cool. That's a cool touch.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, it wasn't just copy paste. It's like, yo, here's the hallway that they're in, and it's like this infinite stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, They put in some extra touch into this. They're not going to touch the intro, which is good, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And normally I've seen it for the intros. I see outros change like between arcs of various animes, but not really the intros. So the intro stands out to me more. But Chainsaw Man, I accidentally like kept it on for a little bit when I went to refill my drink, and I was like, oh, I don't remember this. Last one had a butterfly in it. Um, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, shit, now I wonder when season 2 of that is happening.
Yeah, same. Probably in maybe not. Obviously, I would hope a year, but maybe a couple of years. I'm not sure. Oh, you said Jujutsu Kaisen's coming out soon, right?
Hell yeah, I'm really excited for that too.
When's season 2 starting? How long was season 1?
Season 1, it wasn't that long. It was around like 20 episodes or so.
Typical
But
season. Okay.
I think season 2 comes out in like July or something.
Okay, so I got time to binge and catch up on it.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 episodes randomly in the middle of the first season, so I get the idea. But yeah, it's on my list to watch because it seems interesting. It's not my exact type of shonen to watch, but I'll definitely watch it. So that's why I haven't had the urgency to catch up on it. Yeah. Instead, I watched things like Shield Hero Season 2 and High School of the Elite. I relate this, and maybe this is narcissistic. I relate to the character of the protagonist from High School of the Elite, just overthinking and trying to plan stuff out ahead of time. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and he's good at it. I'm not that good, but I was like, yeah, I have the same impression. I have the same mindset as him sometimes back in school.
Still waiting for No Game No Life season 2.
Didn't they make a movie or spinoff for that?
Yes, they made a movie of it, but the movie was essentially the prequel
The prequel,
story.
yeah. I saw like the second half of the movie with Brandon. I was like, "What's this anime?" He's like, "It's a movie." I was like, "Which one?" He's like, "It's basically a pre." I was asking so many questions, like, "Dude, just watch the anime." I'm like, "No, I'm good. You explained everything. I'm caught up." It was
Yeah.
interesting. It was the ending. I thought was very different. I would say impactful, I guess, if I understood how the typical season went down or something. But the characters are different from the season, so
Yeah, because it was the prequel.
yeah. So I thought that did pretty good.
If you actually watch the whole movie and follow the thing, it was a pretty impactful, heartwarming yet sad
It
ending.
felt that way just from the ending and their exposition while they were talking and doing stuff and watching what happened and them slugging through the climax like just to get through it. I'm like, I can feel the impact. I didn't even see the beginning. I don't even need to see the origins. I can just see like I can appreciate the journey that they went on or that they're going through and what's the context of everything. I was like, this looks pretty well done. I still am unsure about watching the actual series, but that's a different story. There's a lot of what is that genre?
Isekai.
Isekai, yeah. Not itchy. I was gonna say ichikai, but I was like, that's not a genre.
But now,
Ichigai,
No
yeah.
Game No Game No Life still is one of the better isekai animes out there.
Is it?
Because it's not your typical power trip fantasy. It is outsmarting people who have access to magic and shit
Yeah, that's I don't know.
all
That's
through
the appeal
game.
for me. It's like playing within the rules of a game and outsmarting the opponent. Yeah.
I mean, it literally starts with them beating the god of games
Yeah.
in a chess match. It's like,
I gotta figure
I'm a
out.
sore loser. I want you to play me again. Okay, we'll play again. Okay, we're gonna play in my world this time. What? Yeah.
Interesting. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna watch next or the next couple things. Like I said, I keep mentioning High School of the Elite season 2. I watched season 1 because Brandon recommended it, enjoyed it. Watched season 2, caught up on it. Um, the ending's a little bit chilling, but we'll see where it goes from there. I'm curious in the plot and the arcs and the character development. We'll see what happens because the character himself addressed at the end of season 2. He's like, Let's see if anything changes. Hopefully it changes, or maybe I'll just see everything the same way as I always have, or something. Like he you know what the audience would be thinking. He's aware of that meta context. He's like, yeah, let's see if this changes at all. I was like, he's too smart for this. Too in control. So I probably would like the puzzle world also. I don't know what that world is called in No Game No Life, but I call it the puzzle world or game world or something.
It's called Disboard.
Disboard. Okay, interesting. What do you Here we go, Matt. What anime or two do you recommend I watch or binge next in the next, let's say, coming weeks?
Of just old animes or currently airing animes?
Not currently airing, because I'd have to catch up on that and wait each week. Stuff, whether I've addressed it now or that you
Completed stuff.
Yeah. No Game No Life could be at the top of that list.
Yeah, No Game No Life is up there. I personally fell out of interest on Attack on Titan, so I personally can't recommend that one just because.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till season 5 at least starts before I binge season 4.
Overlord has completed its 4th season as of last anime season, so that one's a good one to catch up on.
Well, I'd have to start from episode 1, so we'll think about that.
It's an interesting one.
I know. I've seen some episodes and clips of it. It's definitely a commitment at this point to catch up on 4 seasons.
Let's see.
Platypus, any suggestions of something I should catch up on that you think would suit my fancy?
I'd have to think about it. I mean, yeah, I don't know, because I've been telling everyone, due to my bias, that you should just check out Cyberpunk, but I don't know how easy that is to do right now. I think it's still only on Netflix. Okay. And it's also only like 10 episodes, so it's not like a lot to catch up on.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is a 1, maybe 2 season anime to binge and catch up on. So I could add that to the list. I'm not really interested in the Cyberpunk vibe or anything like you are. I will watch it if the story and everything is good and the aesthetic. Like Chainsaw Man, I like the animation style. Side note, real quick, what you guys are thinking about that? What did you think of the Chainsaw Man animations? I've seen mixed reviews and heard people be like, it was okay. It was a little weird or creepy at times, where they definitely mixed a lot of 3D and 2D into it.
Yeah, that fucked with me, because there was a point where I was trying to figure out why it was fucking with me, and I was like, oh, it's because the lighting looks like this. And I was like, wait, why is there lighting? Oh shit, this is 3D. It was like, yeah. But they kept switching the 3D and the 2D a lot, and I mean, I don't know, it didn't bother me much. It's not really that it bothered me, but I still had to get used to it, if that makes sense. Because I mean, like, the animations and the fights are, like, they're clean. It just looks different, and like the color palette too.
Yeah, I like the animation style, I'm not gonna lie. Even with them switching a lot, even though sometimes it's jarring, that's just how 3D animation is currently, especially in anime. It's better than a lot of other animes have shown it, and they use it a lot. So I enjoyed it. Definitely some points where I was like, hold on a second, that was a real shift for just a few seconds. But even their 2D animations were very fluid sometimes, like them walking or just picking something up. Like they put in extra frames for no reason.
Right.
So I liked it. I was hoping the intro fight scenes, some of the stuff in the intro was going to be in the actual show, when I realized it wasn't. So whatever. But the spoiler, in the intro when they showed the future devil, that thing just dancing, I was like, I fucking love this thing, whatever it is, whenever it is. And then when they introduced in the show, I'm like, what is this? And then he started dancing in the show. It's like, oh, it's that dude. I've been waiting. That's the only thing I really remember from the intro. I've been waiting for. I love those kind of weird ass characters like that. He's like, I'm so ready to look at your future. Put your head in me. I was
yeah, it was just bizarre.
Yeah, it's character, personality. That's what you want. Like it builds the world a little better. So when you see it, you're like, this dude goes on trips, hallucinations or something, and he's having a blast. I'm waiting for this. it just builds out the world a little more, even if it is a quirky character. It's not like a one-dimensional character or anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah. As for a quick recommendation of ones that I completed recently, at least,
Okay.
that I think you might enjoy, the Tomodachi game and Lucas Recoil would probably be two that I could recommend just as a sit down and binge watch anime.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna look those up while I guess you give a quick summary of them. Elevator speech. You
Yeah,
said Tokudo. What?
I sent them to you.
Okay.
The Tomodachi game, it's, it's kind of hard to explain that one in the way of how it works, whether it's magic or stupidly advanced technology that doesn't quite work, but essentially like Japanese kid games.
Yeah,
No,
Tomodachi.
not Squid Game style, for anyone who's thinking that immediately.
Oh.
But it's classroom of students broken up into groups of like 4 or 5, whatever, and they going through like trying to figure out who stole the like million yen that was gathered from the class for a trip.
Okay.
And so it's like try going through playing the games to like figure out who it was, because like one of them's like you have to say the truth, tell a lie. If you're caught lying, you're penalized, so on and so forth. Stuff like that going through it with 4 characters from the class, and they all know stuff about each other, some of which they shouldn't know because it hadn't been told to them, but one of them spied on the other one of them dated one of them, so on and so forth. Stuff that got around that's not supposed to get out.
Okay.
And one of the challenges is you go into a closed space to write it down. You write down something about someone else, whoever has like the crowd's reaction of the most sad or fucked up story, whatever, they penalize what or move forward however it is. And one of them is literally someone murdered somebody. And it goes on for that. It's an interesting story. I'm not really doing it justice trying to describe it because it's been a while since I watched it, and I am trying to leave out certain key points. But still, that one, and then the Lucas Recoil. That one is teenage students
With
that,
guns. Yeah, I see it. I looked it up.
yeah, with guns as essentially a Japanese secret police force.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I
And
just saw images. I didn't look at the actual plot, so I'm still listening. I was just like getting an
yeah,
idea of what it looks like.
the main female in that one has like such a quick response time and
Yeah.
critical thinking that she is actually able to predict where you're gonna shoot based off muscle movements in your arm before you even pull the trigger
She can
to
see
make
your
it look like she's dodging
she
bullets.
sees your muscle movements. Her
Yeah,
brain
like
processes
eh,
that fast to see your muscle movements with a gun.
yeah, where you're aiming the gun, the muscle movements, and how your hand moves, everything right before you pull the trigger,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to step out of the way and dodge that.
All right, I'll watch it.
And she is
It reminds me of High
she's
School of the Dead.
no, not that. But she also is the only one of those secret police who does not use lethal force.
Gotcha. So she's good at her job.
Damn good at it.
Okay.
Dodge bullets, takes people out with fucking like pepper spray bullets in her gun, and it gets fucking crazy.
All right, I will definitely check them out and be able to talk about it next time, or next time we meet in person at least.
Oh, I have one more.
All right,
Well,
add it to my
you
list.
may have seen it because it's actually, I guess it is old at this point, but Samurai Champloo.
God, yeah, that it's a decent old one, but you have to get into the story.
I'm thinking Afro Samurai. So hold on a second. I got Samurai Shampoo. Is that what you said?
Champloo. It's
Shampoo.
CHAM. It's like champ, but then you add LOO at the end.
Yeah, I see it. Um, 4.9 out of 5. 2006 was the last episode. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit old. What's it about? I'm looking up images.
Well,
I've
so if you're
seen the art
familiar with
style before. Keep going. Sorry.
Cowboy Bebop, it's like the same director, some of the same voice actors, kind of similar vibes, but
Yeah.
there's just like three wandering main characters, and in essence, it's like just the shit that happens to them on their journey, and like they
Okay.
just kind of like happen to cross paths in the first episode, and they like the two samurai agree to like accompany the main like the girl Fu,
Yeah.
and I mean it's pretty much just what they go through like from A to B, and like there's
Okay.
serious episodes and like goofy ones, and
Okay, so it's just following them. It's pretty more laid back compared to like keeping up with the story and exposition and stakes increasing.
yeah, but like
Mm, yes and no.
I mean, there has to be a plot. It's not something that's comedies can get away
Yeah.
without having like a plot from start A to the final
well
episode. But
Well, this doesn't spoil it. I mean, the two samurai actually want to kill each other, but they get into some deep doo doo the
yeah,
first episode.
okay.
The girl helps save them, so then she's like, "Actually, can you all help me? I'm looking for someone. So don't kill each other till you like help me find this guy, and then
And then I'll
you can fuck off and do whatever you want."
All right, yeah, I like that. That doesn't spoil anything. That's something that just gets usually is explained in the first episode. Is here's how it works.
Yeah.
So
Plus, I don't like that show has a really unique soundtrack. That's like one of the first things that introduced me to lo-fi, which I
yeah,
listen to all the time now. But
yeah.
like an intro, I never skipped that one. It was
Okay.
just a
Oh,
cool show.
okay. I've got some songs I'll send your way outside of this, but what is, there was an anime where I listened to the intro every time. I think it's like K Project or something. I love that soundtrack. That's
Let's
different
see,
though.
usually I'll listen to or watch it. I mean, it depends. Like there are just some that I can't do it, but
Yeah.
I guess I just happen to like the intro for a lot of the shows I watch.
No, that's good. My recommendation for you, Platypus, is Megalobox Season 1. I forget how many episodes it is. It's 12 or 24. I think it's. I'll look it up.
Megalobox Season 1 is 13.
13. Yep. It's a quick binge for you. Maybe spread it out, or you can binge it all at once. I recommend binging it out. It makes the, even if you wait every other day, it makes the endings between episodes build up a little bit in your head. Like, oh, okay, what's going on? Because that definitely helps when you're talking about like planned fights, because they're in a boxing ring typically or something like that. It kind of helps, like actual UFC fighting, how they market it weeks in advance. Like, yeah, get ready for this, builds it up. It kind of does the same thing for that show to not binge it all in one sitting, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
And the music really fits the aesthetic and the vibe of the show. Like I said, like 80s futuristic kind of stuff. You'll see what I mean when I say it. And the animation style, even though it's digital, is kind of drawn to be like old school reflective. So I just like it all. That's my recommendation, as well as The Rising of Shield Hero Season 1. Season 2 you can watch also, but you need to watch Season 1. Binge it all if you have to in one weekend.
I mean, we'll see.
That's my
If I
yeah. Sorry,
if
what?
I'm that interested, I'll do. I don't follow that intense of a watching
Yeah,
regimen, but
I know I'm weird. That's because I have to play the catch-up game all the time. Watch the first episode, and then go from there. If you want to wait, do that. But when you get yourself like 44 minutes and 38 seconds, watch the first episode, and give me your thoughts on it if you want to keep watching it or not. Simple as that.
yeah, same to you. Like if and when you watch either Samurai Champloo or Cyberpunk.
Yeah, hold on. Let me write it down because I will forget. Let me add it to
I
my
already
list.
sent it to you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
That
Matt, my
and
recommendation for you is to touch grass.
fuck you.
Platypus, you have a recommendation for him?
I know Matt's already seen Samurai Champloo. Like I said, if you have a way, definitely watch Cyberpunk. But
Oh yeah, I already
like,
sent him a link for that too.
Yeah, but like I don't. I feel like I can't really suggest anything this man hasn't already seen or knows about.
Try me. Before we wrap it up, try me.
I've got a Netflix one that's
Well, yeah,
Wait,
if it's
did
a
you have
Netflix
you
one, I'm not
seen?
going to have seen it.
okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was gonna say Castlevania is pretty
Yeah.
awesome if you consider
I
that.
have seen Castlevania though, because I have pirated stuff.
Have you seen all of it or just like the first season?
Not sure because it's been a little bit, but I do know how it ends, and I have seen the ending.
Okay, then never mind. Platypus, you
Dang.
like that? You like that?
Oh hell yeah,
Did
it was a
we?
really
Oh no, we were trying to persuade Miles. That's right, to watch it. That's right. I thought we were trying to
yep.
persuade you. Yeah.
Another short, sweet, sexy anime.
What's another anime? What's the There's a couple on Netflix. Are you interested in ones on Netflix?
I don't have access to Netflix, and I will
Gotcha.
not pay a subscription for it, so no, not really.
Okay, that makes sense.
However, most of them, if they're worth watching, do make their way onto third-party sites, so you can at least name it.
I'm trying to remember it where the dude gets possessed. It's like a really rough 2D animation style, and he gets possessed by like a demon, and his best friend or whatever with all the white hair, dressed fully in white. He's like Lucifer or something. Trying to remember. It's like
I'm not sure.
Crybaby, Devilman Crybaby.
Devilman Crybaby, yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. I know that's years old. There's another really, okay. The accurate term is shitty. There's a really shitty anime. I watched both seasons, and I'm not even calling it a guilty pleasure. It's just something where I'm like, I'm already committed to this. Let's just go for it. I watched it at the same time as Devilman Crybaby, and it's one of the only animes where I'm like, why did I waste my time with that? I gotta look it up and I'll send it to you. But it was people have like weapons in them or their keys or whatever. Sacred weapons and stuff are become a part of them, and they become fighting tools against others.
That sounds like a couple that I know
Yeah, I'd have to look it up again. The only reason I watched the second season was because there's like one character in the first season, and I was like, you know what, I actually like this dude, not the main character. Just some dude that was like mentoring him for a bit. I was like, I like this dude, and I was like, all right, where does the second season start off with this? Because it depends on where things go, and just so many things are wrong with that in terms of characters, plots, plot armor, forcing stuff to happen that's out of characters, personality. I was like, what the? I can't describe it right now until I. I'd recommend that. No, I wouldn't recommend it. There's a reason I forgot the name of it and haven't told anyone I watched it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Have you watched Code Lyoko?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Trying to think.
used to.
I'm trying to think of anything he hasn't seen.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I was about to throw out a Gundam show, but
do it. He probably hasn't seen that many of them.
Gundam
My
Double L.
online, yes, my
Yeah, but
online name that I go by is one of the fucking main characters from Gundam.
yeah, from Gundam Seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. We'll figure it out later. We'll get him one day.
I don't think we can.
One of these days you might find one.
I think Oric has a couple. He's definitely got a couple. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, but I will recommend it to you. He's seen some really bad ones because he finds really bad anime funny. So possibly we'll ask him. And Platypus, did you have any recommendations for? Or no, Matt, did you have any recommendations for Platypus? I know because we have kind of different tastes. I told him Megalobox and Rising a Shield Hero when he gets a chance.
Jobless Reincarnation is definitely one you should watch if you haven't already, man.
Yeah, I'll put it on the list. One more time. What is it? Something reincarnation?
Jobless Reincarnation. There's 2 seasons of it out so far. Third season, I believe, is coming out this year. I might be mistaken on that.
I need to watch Zero Gate. I'm reviewing my list of anime I gotta watch. It's ridiculous. I stopped adding to it for that reason. I gotta clean stuff off that list. All right.
Well, with that, I think we should wrap it up. Key notes are they did fucking Vash dirty.
So dirty. Hate to see it.
Oh, Trigun. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, who the hell is Vash? It's like that's not.
Vash the
That's
Stampede.
I know that's not dingy. I was thinking Chainsaw Man.
Nah, they did my boy dirty.
Yeah. Well, all right. Any final parting words? Platypus, Matt, myself.
Yeah, whoever decided that we need a live action Yu Yu Hakusho can suck my asshole. That is all.
Wait,
yeah.
did that come out?
Stop.
No, but I think Netflix is doing that. Like it's in the works, and they've released like promos.
I
and
saw the.
it's just,
That's right. I remember that. Oh, okay.
Stop doing live action animes and stop remaking the old stuff, making it horrible.
Cowboy Bebop.
Just
Well,
stop.
they're trying to introduce it to a new audience, and I understand that. But
Update the quality, not downgrade.
Yeah, don't change it. Don't change the plot and the characters. Yeah.
Do like they did with games. Remaster it. Don't remake it.
Yeah. All right. I don't have any final words other than for Matt's to-do list is to still touch grass. So, with that, I think we'll end it. And before I hear a knock on my door with the gunshot outside, from Matt driving out here, yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I'm just rambling, trying to procrastinate so he doesn't come to my house sooner. All right, everybody. We'll catch you all later. Thanks again for joining Unfiltered Pineapple Podcast. Weeb Chronicles. I think this is the 3rd edition. It's been a while. We've been trying to catch up on stuff. Yeah. Follow us on the socials. Comment what you think is good or bad about this last season or your favorite animes. Reach out to us. We'll see you all later.
Yeah, I'll touch the grass when I put you in it.
oh shit.
Hold on. What was that?